After a long offseason, USC kicks off their 2023 campaign at home against the San Jose State Spartans. For the first time in a long time, we as USC fans finally feel like this could be our year. We have the coach, we have the quarterback, do we have the defense? That is the question we have heard ad nauseum throughout the entire offseason. It's finally time to stop guessing, stop speculating, and see our Trojans take the field and play some ball. It all starts here, Week 0, USC, San Jose State. Let's go. What's up, guys? My name is Gabe, and welcome to the Trojan Blade. This season is finally here, and that means the return of game previews. This is really my bread and butter, so I'm fired up. But before we get into it today, this video is brought to you by the Trojan Blade Patreon. I'm sure you guys have heard me mention the Patreon before, but this is the lifeblood of the channel. Your guys' support over there really helps me do this full time. And when you do sign up to be a gold tier patron, you will see your name on the screen in every video. You'll get access to the Patreon exclusive film study we'll be doing every Wednesday during the season. And you'll also get early access to every one of my videos, and those will be ad-free as well. So head over to my Patreon and check it out if you're interested. As always, the link's in the description. Thanks so much for being here, and let's meet the San Jose State Spartans. Alright, so first off, let's meet the head coach of the Spartans, Brent Brennan. Coach Brennan has been the head man for SJSU since 2017, and he's done a really good job. Brent is an offensive guy by trade. He specializes in coaching wideouts, actually. And when you look at the play at that position over the last few years for the Spartans, you can really see his fingerprints on it. And this is a guy that knows what he's doing. He was Brandon Cook's coach at Oregon State when he won the Blitnikoff. So whenever you play against a Brent Brennan coach team, you can expect great play from the wideouts, and you can also expect them to throw the ball all over the field. And speaking of throwing all over the field, let's head over and meet the San Jose State offense. Alright, so going off of last year, this offense was very explosive, but had zero balance. This was the number 25 passing offense in the country and 122nd rushing offense. So one-dimensional is an understatement there. It wasn't necessarily for a lack of trying either. The Spartan offensive line was frankly putrid in the run game last year. But we'll talk more about the offensive line in a minute. We can't go any further on the Spartan offense without talking about senior quarterback Chevan Cordeiro. I had heard a lot about this guy this offseason, but when I went and really watched him, I was blown away. This guy is a hell of a player. I mean, he's really one of the more talented quarterbacks in the entire country, regardless of level. I don't know why he's talked about as little as he is. This guy's legit. The first thing that really stood out to me is how quickly he processes. He's a very quick decision maker. If his first or second read isn't there, he's immediately pulling it and running. No indecision with him. Now, Alex Grinch's defense do a good job of confusing the opposing quarterback and making them hold the ball a little longer than they'd like to. But a guy as experienced as this, I wouldn't count on him being flustered in this one. And not only does this guy run, but he runs well. He's got some serious juice to him. He's very shifty as well. And his vision once he becomes a runner is at a very high level. He's always under control when he's running. It's like he sees the game at a slower speed than the defenders do. But he's not just a runner, he's a very good passer too. While the San Jose State offense is quite one-dimensional, Cordeiro definitely doesn't fall into that category. He throws a gorgeous ball, he puts a lot of arc on it, and he can really drop it in a bucket. He had multiple throws last year where he dropped it right into a guy's lap in the middle of 3 defenders. Big time accuracy, and he's got some good velocity as well. At times, he can be a tad too aggressive with predetermining where he's going with the ball. He didn't throw many interceptions last year, but there were a few where he threw a slant or an in without paying any attention to where the linebackers were sitting. So I'd look for our nickels and corners to be extra aggressive with jumping short routes in this one. And in terms of scheme, this offense is called very aggressively, so I'd look for San Jose State to throw some go balls early and really try to stretch the field and get our safeties on their back foot early. When defenses start to fear their quick strike deep shots, that's when they kill you with the short game. And Cordeiro ranked 6th in the country last year in all of FBS and catchable pass rate 15 or more yards down the field. So when they take those deep shots, he's throwing the ball where only his guy can get it. And he's actually from the same high school as Marcus Mariota and Tua over there in Hawaii. And he's actually still mentored by Marcus to this day. And when you watch him play, you definitely see that influence in his game. So he could be a problem. It's going to be really interesting to see how Alex Grinch attacks him. Alright, now let's talk about the Spartan running backs. The bell cow from 2022 is back in senior halfback Kyrie Robinson. He's a smaller guy, only being listed at 5'7", 195, but he's surprisingly good down near the goal line. And this was a confusing guy to watch on tape. Honestly, his offensive line was so bad last year and their run game just never got going. So it's really hard to know this guy's true talent, but he will be splitting carries this year with Utah Tech transfer Quali Conley. He's bigger than Robinson, being listed at 5'10", 207. They're very excited about him. The wideouts as a whole are an interesting group, but we have to talk about Justin Lockhart. This guy is a stud and easily the second best player on the San Jose State team. He suffered an arm injury in camp and wasn't even present at the final day of Spartan Fall practices. So that's a potentially enormous loss for San Jose State. They'll really have to have multiple guys step up to fill that void. But a great story coming out of San Jose State camp is the emergence of true freshman walk-on wideout Cooper Hodge. He's had a phenomenal fall camp and will for sure contribute in this one. Always love to see stories like that. Now moving over to the tight ends. They have two guys that could be a problem for SC, especially if the depth chart USC release is really what we see out there on the field. There could be some issues. Redshirt junior Sam Olson has been the top receiving target for the Spartans in fall camp. He's dealt with injuries in his career, but when he's healthy, he's been very good. Great hands, good blocker as well. But Dominic Mazzotti is a 6'4", 250-pound redshirt junior that is a big-time athlete. He can make some serious stuff happen after the catch, so SC will have to be ready for these guys. We all know the incredibly well-documented struggles that SC has had with tight ends, so this is a great first test to see what Grinch has done to deal with that. Having Max Williams as one of your starting safeties doesn't put much confidence in me, but we'll see what he does with that. All right, now moving up front, the San Jose State offensive line does return 8 guys that started a game for them last year, which is kind of a crazy number when you think about it. But honestly, this group does not impress me. You do have 2 6-year seniors on the line in the center Pardue and the right tackle Navarro. But quite frankly, if our defensive front can be successful against this group, then it's going to be a long-ass year to say the least. So in total, this is a very fun, explosive offense. I had a blast watching their tape from last year. But the USC defense has to make San Jose State prove that they can run the ball and really do everything in their power to take away the running lanes for Cordero. He's going to make plays in this game, guys. It's just a matter of not allowing the big ones. All right, let's flip over to the defensive side of the ball now. This Spartan defense was actually very solid last year. Taking a look at the numbers here, they ranked as the number 29 scoring defense, 28th rushing defense, 51st in pass defense, and finished as the number 32 overall defense. Now those numbers are great, but they only returned 5 starters from last year's unit, and they lost some studs, some program legends. So they do look to take a step back this year overall. Although their secondary does seem to be improved, the front 7 is definitely lacking. Scheme-wise, this is a traditional 3-4 defense. You'll have your 3 down linemen, 2 inside linebackers, an edge rusher, and a versatile field linebacker. All right, so let's take a look at this defensive line. They have literally 0 depth here. Trey Smith is a returner from last year. He amassed 3 sacks in 10 games. They're really counting on him to step up and become an all-Mountain West caliber player. Will he be able to do that from the defensive end spot? I don't know. And like I said, they're having to replace multiple program legends on this roster this year. There are truly some massive holes left by a few guys they had last year in Fehoko and Hall. Matthew Tago is a transfer from Oregon State that looks to start at edge. 6'2", 223. Yes, you heard me right, 223 at edge. It's going to be a long day for him depending on how they plan on deploying him. But Taniela Latu has been one of the standout performers in fall camp for SJSU. He looks to have locked up the other outside backer spot, but the secondary of this Spartan defense is where you'll start to see the real standout players. Former USC Trojan Chase Williams is the veteran leader in the back end for Sparty. I always liked Chase. I thought he was incredibly misused at SC, but then again, who wasn't during that era? But he's a very solid player. Athletically, I don't know if he can keep up with our guys, but he won't make any mental mistakes. SJSU got a former 4-star recruit in the portal and former Virginia Tech Hokie, DJ Harvey. DJ seems to have one of the corner spots locked up. This is a very talented kid. He's 5'11", 190, great speed, but he only played 135 snaps last year at Va Tech. So let's be honest, this secondary is going to have their hands full against this group of wideouts, but they have some talented pieces, no doubt. Normally, I'd have more scheme and usage things to talk about here, but with this being the first game, I have 0 tape on this year's San Jose State team, and when they're replacing as many players as there are, it's really hard to know what to expect. But hopefully that helps you get to know this team a little bit. Now let's move over to the G's keys, and then I'll give you my prediction. So the USC offense is so insane, I almost feel like just show up is the only key we need, but I do have a few here. So my first and second key for the offense are actually tied in. The first is come out hot, put up a bunch of points in that first half, and then let the backups get reps. I don't want to see Caleb in there in the mid-third quarter. Get him out, put him in bubble wrap. I want to see some Miller Moss. I want to see some Malachi Nelson. Keep Caleb safe is the point here. And then the last one is just O-line communication. I talked about this a few videos ago, but when you have 3 new starters on the offensive line and they all weren't in the program at the end of last year, communication is going to be difficult. You're not going to have your chemistry yet, and communication, especially in this counter GT scheme, is so important. I don't expect it to be perfect, but I want to see a clean operation overall. All right, now moving over to the defense, we actually have some real ones here. The first one is tackle. Now, early in the year last year, this USC defense was a good tackling defense. People always forget that. But what we saw at the end of last year, that cannot happen in this game. This offense is too talented. Cordero's too good a quarterback. You have to tackle. Key number 2 is pressure early and often. Don't let Cordero settle into this game. When he gets into a rhythm, he is dangerous. Don't give him a clean pocket. Don't give him a clean picture. Really make it hard on him from the get-go. And number 3 is keep the tight ends out of the game. We all know the struggles we've had covering tight ends, especially last year. Well, San Jose State has 2 legit guys there. So whether that's manning them up with Zion Branch or Kalen Bullock, I don't care what they do. Just keep these tight ends out of the game. Show us you can do it. All right, so those were G's keys. Now for the prediction, I have SC coming out of the gates hot, dropping 35 in the first half. Then with most of the backups playing in the second half, I do think the Spartan offense is going to put up some points. So I have it as a 63-31 win for SC. Make sure to let me know your score predictions down in the comments. Alright guys, so that'll do it. Game preview number 1 is in the books. I really hope to help you get to know the San Jose State team. Again, with 0 tape on this year's squad, it is a little hard, but I did my best. And guys, that will do it for me today. If you did happen to enjoy this video, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you do want to help the channel in an even bigger way, make sure you head over to the Trojan Blade Patreon. Guys, I really feel like this is going to be an incredible year. I want to thank you all so much for coming on this ride with me. You're all awesome, and as always, take care and fight on.